Iconic Canadian brand Lululemon, known around the world for its yoga wear, is making a change at the top. CEO Calvin McDonald is leaving the company at the end of January. News of his departure follows criticism from founder Chip Wilson, who's been vocal about McDonald and the board, opposing what they've been doing. Shares of Lululemon have fallen nearly 50% through the year, but following today's news and a strong earnings announcement, it jumped 10%. The Vancouver-based company said it's working with an executive search firm to find a replacement. All right, well, the move is shocking to our next guest, who believes McDonald was doing well with the company considering the current circumstances of the retail market. David Ian Gray is an instructor in retail studies at Capilano University in North Vancouver and a retail strategist. So you were surprised by this news?
Yeah, I'm fully aware of the struggle with the share price and the sales drop, but with all the headwinds hitting them in the bigger picture, he's done a really strong job since 2018. So I was a bit taken aback by the announcement today.
Once you heard the announcement, work backwards. What do you think is going on?
I'm going to discount Chip Wilson's letter because he's done similar things many times in the past with different CEOs. So I don't know if he has that level of sway, but I do think there's an investor-led push if he is being pushed out. It could also be that he has done 8 years and he sees other opportunities. But if we kind of go with the current thought process that maybe there's a push, that's probably investor-related and short-term financial, viewpoint as opposed to the big picture.
Yeah, you know what's interesting to me? You're a retail analyst. You follow the industry really closely. Here we are in Vancouver, which is where Lululemon was born, where it grew up, where it's still headquartered, and we don't really know what's going on with, the CEO leaving. It's a lot of mystery at this point. But we do know a little bit about where the company is right now because, of course, they have to report earnings. So give us the state of health of Lululemon.
Well, he grew the company overall about threefold in revenues since he took over in 2018. And when he came in, the exec suite was in some disarray, and he brought a lot of stability to it. However, the last couple of years, revenues, particularly in North America and the US, have really either flattened or started to retreat. Of course, there's a lot of consumer headwinds around that. I think the bigger picture is we always expect publicly traded companies to grow at the same rate of growth they've always had. And at some point, you're going to saturate the market. There is competition coming in, and I don't know if the expectation of prior growth rate is the foreseeable future, but right now it's in a downward swing.
Is there anything that you see at Lululemon that is notable to you, either that you like or you don't like?
Some of the knock on it right now is that some of the styles and the approach hasn't changed much in a few years, and I can see that being a legitimate concern. However, I look at the whole industry right now, and no one is taking bold steps right at the moment. It's basically triage, between the economy, China, which has really shrunk in its consumer spending, and the tariff uncertainty. Everyone's playing it a bit safe. So if the knock is he's been playing it too safe, join the club.
And let's talk about tariffs for a moment. I mean, that's got to be tough for any company that does its manufacturing abroad, and clothing companies rely on manufacturing abroad. What do we know about how tariffs have affected Lululemon?
They've reported that there's been a substantial hit from the beginning of the year from the tariff situation. And of course, they're trying to pivot and change their supply routes, same with others. Especially when the U.S. is one of your key markets for growth. Prices are inflating in the U.S. and the consumer's really starting to be careful about what they're spending on down there. So, how long that remains an impact is TBD. But certainly that is a factor.
So let's end with this. As I say, Lululemon is an important company in a small city, Vancouver, and a lot of people here, I'm sure, are very concerned. If they were to hold a news conference, which I don't think they're going to, and you were to attend, what questions would you have for Lululemon right now?
Well, the first question is, tell us more about the exit, because there has been nothing shared as to the why. It's just an announcement, so I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Of course, no company will really share that. It'll come out later. But I'd also like to know what their time frame is, like how they look at the future during a tough economic cycle. Are they being patient here, or are they feeling like they're in a rush and they're in a turnaround?
All right, David Ian Gray, always nice to have you on the program, and an extra bonus to have you sitting, or standing, I guess, in our newsroom as well. David's an instructor in retail studies at Capilano University and a retail strategist.